If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
I'll just go directly proceed. I forgot what I have. Yeah, chemical company. 93. So we are in the exposure profile. So can someone explain me what is an exposure profile? We have been discussing it for some time enough. So can someone explain me what is an exposure profile?
When a worker or an employee gets exposed to certain agents in their work location for their working duration, those are grouped together and it is known as exposure profile.
Very good. So when an employee is working, there would be a list of agents to which he'll be exposed. And exposure profile is nothing but like a profile of all the agents to which he is exposed. And we already discussed yesterday what is an agent, day before yesterday, when we did what is an agent and how to do it and other stuff. Oh, sorry, I forgot to again show a disclaimer. Apologies. So this is the disclaimer. So I was told I have to show this every day when the session starts. So this is the disclaimer. Okay, so let us proceed. So let me assign the list of agents to which an employee is exposed. So as an example, we have created some agents earlier. So let us try to assign it. So I will select a real substance and I will select from the list of the real substances. Maybe I'll select one more real substance.
Ram, your screen is moving, but are you speaking something?
No, no, I have not spoken. I have not started speaking. Is my voice
Okay.
audible now?
Yes, it is.
So I selected a real substance. I think there is a grudge of this power company with me. Whenever we start, it just gets disrupted every day almost. Let me look at an alternative. So I'm assigning a couple of real substances. Apart from this, I can assign another agent type. So maybe I will assign a noise just to show. So within noise itself, I can assign other and I can save it. So just for the sake of explanation, I have taken three different agents present in this work area to which an employee is exposed to. So there are two ways in which you can create an assessment to know whether it is a high risk or a low risk. The first and the most simple way is that after you identify agents for a work area, you can select the agents, create an assessment. Simple. The other alternative way was you can come to the normal create assessment screen, click on the create button, select the agent type, which work area, and then you can create it. So this is a pain because for each agent you have to create it again and again. But if you do the same thing here in our work area, You can select one shot. You can click on create assessment. It will be created. As simple as that. So if you want an easy way for the user to do, and if you also want to do it, select it, click on create assessment. You will get a message saying risk assessments have been created and saved successfully. So let us just get back to that risk assessment screen. Edit risk assessment. Click on the hit list. And you can see our chemical company getting created with these two. Out of the three, I selected only two to create an assessment to show you the difference. If I select three, all the three will be visible. If I select one, only one will be visible. So that's the reason. So now you can select any one of them. This is the screen. Now, anyone, because you might already worked in risk assessment, can you please tell me what is the way in which you can do the risk assessment? Can you please tell me how many ways you can do a risk assessment?
Uh, Most common RAM is to define the severity and probability of the risk. And in some of the system, they assign a rating or a number
Very good.
defining
Very good.
what is the
I
probability.
will
And
show it. I will
yeah,
show it as a safety risk matrix. Very good.
yeah, true, that one. Yeah.
I will just show it as safety risk matrix. I would say 3 by 3. Easy to understand. So I'll just put it images. So this is, I would say, yes, an easy to understand safety risk matrix. Correct? Very good. Apart from this, what else? Okay, I will give you another small example. Suppose if you have fever and you visit a doctor, how will the doctor confirm that you have the fever? You visit a doctor, how will he confirm?
By checking it by thermometer.
Simple logic. Very good. Very good. Means he will use a device to take a value and he will compare it with a reference value. And based on that reference value, he will come to a conclusion whether you're having temperature or not. Correct?
Right.
So that is called as measurement. So in risk also, we will do a measurement. In the EHSM, it is called as quantitative and qualitative. Qualitative means you will be getting a matrix. Quantitative means you will do the measurement. So what is the second option? The doctor. Suppose he is a poor doctor or you are just visiting him just like that out of his clinic or something like that. Still he has to identify what is the whether you're having temperature or not. So no, he don't have a thermometer. So how he will do it?
Checking pulse.
That's also kind of measurement, right? Sometimes when you're running also your pulse can be more. That doesn't mean that you have a fever, right? So what else? Anything? Yes, tell me.
Maybe just checking the body temperature, not quantitatively by thermometer or the pulse,
I
but
will give you one more example. I will give. He will be asking us some questions, right? How are you feeling? What are your symptoms? Are you having appetite? Body pains? Are you able to sleep? Why he will ask certain questions? Why he will ask certain questions?
So based on the symptoms, they can identify which type of the disease it is occurring.
Perfect, perfect. So can I assume that questions or questionnaire is the second way in which we can determine the risk? So there is a checklist. If I follow the checklist, my risk would be less. Possible or not?
Right.
So there are three ways in which a risk can be identified. One is measurement, one is checklist questionnaires. These questionnaires, as we discussed, we are going to do it in occupational health and then come back to do it in the IHS because easy to understand in occupational health. So first is measurement, second is questionnaire, and third is matrix. So looking into this matrix, can someone explain me what did you understand? Please, can someone explain me what did you understand? Like severity and probability earlier, one person said. So anyone, you can just explain me what do you understand?
Higher the probability, uh, higher the severity, higher the risk.
Okay, let me explain this way. Okay, what do you mean by risk? Okay, we're talking about risk. What do you mean by risk? First, let us understand what is a risk. Can anyone explain me what do you mean by risk?
It's kind of problem.
Sorry?
Uh, it leads to the problematic things. So a risk which leads to the problematic occurrence.
Okay, so you're very near. I would say anything that has a probability. Please remember, anything that has a probability to become an incident or accident is a risk.
Okay.
Explain. I will explain. See, people will say, drive slow, don't drive fast. Wear a helmet or wear a seat belt. So these are, or wear a mask. Nowadays, COVID, wear a mask. So if you don't do certain activities, you are having a risk because that can create an incident or accident. So here the likelihood of having a risk when you are driving 40 kilometers per hour or maybe 50, very unlikely that the accident can happen on the highway. If you are driving 200 kilometers per hour on Indian roads, is it not likely, highly likely? So, consequences. Whenever the driving is happening, so if it is 200 kilometer per hour and if you're driving a small car like maybe I'm not degrading any brand, maybe a Nano or a Maruti kind of things, then it will be extremely harmful. Maybe if you drive a BMW or maybe a Hummer or something else, so that is slightly harmful, or maybe medium, because the impact will be less compared to the other brands because of the build quality or whatever it is. So in the same way, in any organization, what is the consequence? In a chemical company, leakage, seepage, is it highly unlikely, or likely happens it every time it happens? Suppose it happens likely. And whenever the chemical seepage happens, it is extremely harmful to the environment. So likely into harmful, it is extreme risk. So that condition in the organization is extreme risk. Suppose if it is highly unlikely, but when it happens, it is extremely harmful. So we can say it as medium risk. So the risk level is determined by this. Are we clear till this point? You can ask me. Any doubts, please ask me, because this is important.
Ram, is there any hierarchy control method we'll use for
I'm there. I'm there.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Please ask me.
Yeah, is there any hierarchy control method we'll use to determine the risk and evaluation of the risk?
I'm really sorry, but I could not understand the meaning of hierarchy control. Can you please explain, like, what is it you're looking at?
Yeah, it is one of the method to identify the risk. Actually, in the domain side, mainly will.
Acha, domain side you're asking. Okay, you are coming from
Yeah.
domain. No, this 5Y or Pareto or the hierarchy control, those things are not in standard SAP. In standard SAP, we have only three options: either through assessment, or through measurement, or through questionnaire. These are the three options we have within SAP.
Okay.
I hope I am clear. So can I proceed? Can I proceed for the system now?
Yep.
Okay. So we are in the risk assessment. If you see, this screen is more like a admin related screen. So in this admin related screen, we are going to see any special note you want to maintain with respect to this risk assessment. What is the protection level? See, sometimes when you do an assessment, we take some protection to go it, measurement. Say for example, if you want to understand or take a sample. So for taking a sampling in the work area, you just cannot go like that, right? You need to have certain level of protection or not. So what is the level of protection? Is it a level 1 protection, level 2 protection, or is it a level 3 protection? What is the type of the protection is what you will be doing. So that is what you will be selecting here. So what is the type of the protection? When is the plan started? You are planning for this risk assessment. And when is the planned end date? So is it a 1 day sampling, 3 day sampling, or maybe a week sampling? Suppose if it is 1 day sampling, I will select same day. But sometimes you plan and actual varies. Just like how we plan to start the training, but because I was not keeping well, 2 days were postponed. So the plan actual can differ. So instead of morning, he might start from afternoon, and it is actually extended to one additional day. Possibility is there. And the result. So whatever the result comes after we do the result, that explanation we have to write it here. So here what we do is that explanation of the result of risk assessment. Suppose if you feel the explanation this space is constrained, you can always click on this display note where it will open a document, and in this document you can type whatever you want. So what is the rating? This rating I will a bit explain after I complete the rating here. I will explain this thing. And who is responsible for doing the risk assessment? He is an employee, or you're inviting someone externally to come and do the risk assessment. Who is he? Because as I told you before also, if I don't have a machinery, I will invite others, external vendor, to come and do it. In that case, external person. Risk matrix, questionnaire means checklist, internal I can do. So that's the case of employee. So who is doing it? We can select it. And what is the date of next risk assessment? Because risk assessment is a continuous process. You cannot say, okay, today I did a risk assessment, thank you, goodbye. No, you cannot say that. You have to follow when is the next date of risk assessment. These are like all admin related data. So the next one is we come for analysis. Don't, don't worry
Uh,
about. Yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Quick question.
Yeah.
When you are filling this up, so protection level, what exactly is the protection level? Sorry if I'm asking it again.
Okay. Uh, yes, I will tell you. Say for example, you want to how should I put it? Okay, you are going for a chemical company. Let us say pharma company. You want to see how much uh, what to say level of exposure an employee who is working in production is going to have. So in that case, you have to, because the person who is in production, he will wear his suit, whatever it is, go to the production. But you as a person who is taking the sample of the chemical exposure, you just cannot walk in, put a device, wait for the reading to happen and then come back. You cannot do that, right? You also should be present in the location for monitoring the noise or the chemical exposure. So you also should wear the protection.
Right.
So
And
you
so
might.
when you say you, that means the person who is doing the risk
It's
assessment?
absolutely right. The person responsible. This is
Okay.
the person responsible. He is the one who is going inside to get the sample and do the risk assessment. So he is the one who will be having the protection level.
Okay.
People might not believe it, but that is a fact. Any
And when we
person,
say, sorry,
any
when we say
person,
protection level one,
any person who goes to the manufacturing of either antidepressants or drugs related to heart, like the cardiovascular system, CVS drugs, they will work continuous for 16 to 18 hours. After that, they will be given a break of a week's time. If someone has worked in pharma companies, they might be knowing this. Why? Because irrespective of the protection measures and everything, there will be certain exposure to the chemicals for the people. Definitely. And this is not normal. This is not normal. So definitely they would need to have a rest before they come back again. The same will happen for the person who is doing the risk assessment. He is going to collect the sample. What is the sample? Monitoring the particles or air. How he will collect it? He will take the device, he will enter the production area. Means he is also getting exposed. So he also needs to have a protection level. Sometimes you
right.
take a measurement in a confined space. What do you mean by confined space? It's like closed space. So when he goes to take a sample in the confined space, like oxygen level or whatever it is, then definitely he needs to have the protection.
Right. Right. And when we say protection level one, two, three, four, so one is like minimum protection, four is maximum, like that.
Yes, absolutely right, and that can be renamed in the configuration. If someone is feeling like protection level 1, 2, 3, 4 is a bit confusing, they can be renaming as per the client requirement. But generally, as you rightly said, 1 is minimal and 4 is the maximum.
Okay. But then in ideal case, it should always be four, right? Maximum protection. No?
Depending on the scenario, if I'm taking the sampling in a storage area, I don't need to be maximum protection, right?
So so the protection level is not specific to a area, it's like for the whole facility, right?
Uh, See, I would say one thing. Okay, the answer lies in your question only. Suppose if I am taking the exposure in a canteen area, I want to understand whether the chemical is coming to the canteen also, right?
True.
Canteen
So
area is very far from the production area.
protection level one.
So in,
Oh,
in that case, I can go with the level 1 only.
true. I got it now. Okay.
What type of area, what type of activity we are performing. So depending on the area and the activity we are performing, we will take the protection level.
Right.
It is
Got
something
it.
like if you're taking the sampling in a nuclear industry, let us assume a nuclear industry, where if you are taking sampling at a reactor level, so that would be the highest level of protection. But same sample, if you're taking outside to see what is the radiation level and all, you might not have the same level of protection, right?
Right. Got it. Yep.
Okay, any more doubts?
Yep. No, no. Thanks, Ram.
Yes. So then we will come to other areas also, other tabs also. Let us first come to analysis. When you click on the analysis, these are the three different options which I am explaining to you. I will show you measurement and reference value a bit in OH. Same with questionnaire. Standard criteria I will show you right now. So in the standard criteria, we are going to select the severity and probability. Please remember this table. Severity is nothing but consequence. Probability is likelihood. Renaming, it can be anything, right? But understanding is the same thing. So we have severity, high, medium, low. Maybe I'll select low risk. Probability, low. Calculate main rating. Automatically no risk has come. The configuration is set up in such a way where low, low, less. So here if you see in the risk, A means acute risk, B means high risk. I should not do manually. C means medium risk, low risk, no risk. So when I calculate, automatically it came as no risk. So I will return it like this and I will save it. So any doubt in this, please tell me. So you see here, there is one more person responsible. In the header level, you have a person responsible. Now, in the matrix level, like each one of them, you are having a person responsible. Why you have two person responsibles? Can anyone answer this? I already gave you an example also for this. So if you can answer, I would really be happy. Why we are having a two person responsible? Why can't the person responsible be assigned in the uh, initial place only be available here? Anyone? Sorry everyone. Can you please explain me why we have a different person responsible here? The same applies for each one of them. Measurement, standard criteria, questionnaire. Can someone explain me? Anyone? So simple, right? I already told you. No one? Surprising. Okay. I told you one before when I'm explaining about risk assessment. Initially, I told you the devices are not owned by the organization. External people will come and do it. Correct or wrong? Generally, organizations don't maintain the devices to do the risk assessment. So for each method also, there would be one person who might be external or internal who will come and do the assessment. Whatever you are seeing here is the person responsible for the overall assessment. He himself can go along with the protection level and do it, or he can assign other people for respective things to do it. Are we clear?
Yep.
So that is the reason you have a person responsible for each method also. So once I do this, the rating is there. Of course, we'll come for measurement and reference again also. It's like a recap. Why I do this way is that even after we come to occupational health, once we again come back, it's like a recap of us. So that's the reason. So when we come to assessment and when we click on the main rating, you get the green traffic light. I save it. So what is again a main rating? See, in the analysis, I already had one rating saying that no risk. Why I should again come back to assessment and get a main rating? Can anyone think of it? If someone worked in the risk management of EHSM also, they can answer this question. Can anyone think of it? Why we need to select for two different ratings? Or even the domain people can answer this question. Okay. Risk assessment follows the worst case scenario. It will not. Suppose in the analysis, let us assume, let me take an example and explain you. Chemical company. I am doing a measurement. My reading is as per the standard where it is less. Less in the sense under control. If it should be 10, it is 9. So it is under control. When I come for matrix also, when I come for questionnaire, the checklist says that if you follow step 1, step 2, step 3, there are questions, right? Have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? So people will sign it. Yes, 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 yes. So that is also no risk. But when I come to matrix, I understand there is a risk associated with it. So I will put it as medium risk or high risk. You won't believe it. I will give you an example. Nuclear industry or a chemical industry. You keep on continuous monitoring of measurements for radiation or chemical exposure. That will be nil or within the permissible limit. Checklist will be followed as per this chemical regulations or IAEA standards. Both are there. But only one thing will be pending. As per the matrix, don't we know the consequence is extremely harmful? Correct or wrong? Whenever the leakage happens of the chemical, the consequence is extremely harmful. Correct or wrong?
Right.
And any point of time it can happen. We cannot say highly unlikely, right? Any point of time it will happen. Who knows? Tsunami comes for Japan. They constructed 7-meter high wall. The wave came at 10 meters. So Fukushima disaster happened. Chernobyl disaster has happened. 3 Mile incident in US has happened. Anytime it can happen. A small mistake. So it is very likely. When it happens, I don't know, but it can happen any moment. So now, is it not an extreme risk? Now, if I go and say a democracy, my measurement says no risk, questionnaire says no risk, I am 2:1. No, in risk assessment, we have to always come for the main rating. In the main rating, it will calculate the worst possible scenario, and if anything is in medium risk or high risk, then definitely it will give the worst scenario. Otherwise, why are we supposed to wear helmet and seat belt in cities like Hyderabad, Chennai, and Bangalore, where you cannot accelerate to 30 kilometers per hour when you are driving? What will happen? Nothing. But still, the worst possible scenario can be considered, and you have to wear it. So, risk assessment and EHS people always should consider the worst scenario. Then only people can survive and live. If we say all is well, that's it. So that is one way. So now there is other way of looking at. There are many organizations. In fact, in my experience, the bigger chemical companies, I don't want to name, they never came for questionnaire implementation and value. like measurement implementation, they always go with the risk matrix only. They say, I'm experienced 15 years, 20 years, I'm running this business. So I am only into matrix. I'm not into any other thing. So for them, why to come internally? I can directly in the top assessment only, I can do a severity. I would put it maybe high, whatever it is. As an example, I'm saying high and high. And now when I calculate a rating, it automatically became a traffic light of high risk. Why? Internally, you can see. Internally, if you come to standard criteria, it is no risk. Externally, if I come and see, I'm having high. So when I calculated the rating, as per the program logic, it took the worst possible scenario and has given the high risk as the option. Any doubts in this or not? Can you please raise it, shoot it now? So for any major companies, I would say major because I just implemented only 14 to 15. So within that, I have never come across measurement and questionnaire. It is always about risk matrix. So that's why I always used to say here only assign it and go for main rating. Why to again say go to analysis and do it? So that's the reason I directly do it. Ask the users to do it here itself. So any doubts or can I proceed? No doubts?
Ram, can we directly do main rating without doing the analysis?
Yes, we can do. That's what I'm saying. We can always do it. Many companies don't want to go for measurement questionnaire. They just go for matrix. For the sake of matrix, why I should give them additional steps saying that you go inside, do this, come back, again do this. Why? So I don't want it. Directly I will say here also matrix is available. Do it here itself, main rating. I will not even explain them about analysis. Like a
Right.
step is
Okay.
like a step is there. Why to explain?
Mhm. Right. Right.
I'm talking practical implementation. I'm not talking about theory here. How we get
Okay.
the life easy for the users. That's all. Okay.
Right. Okay. Yep.
So after we do this, there is something called as exposure profile matchup. Because why? From where we got the risk assessment, we got it from work area exposure profile. So this value, whatever we have got, should be again matched up to the exposure profile. So you have to click this exposure profile matchup. So you will get a message, risk assessment exposure profile matched up successfully. This is very important. Only when you get this message we can save it. Sorry, come back, open your work area. You can see automatically this hazard level has come. If you want to find out, double click on this and you can see the source is a risk assessment. And from here also you can directly go. You earlier we created an assessment, you can click on this assessment button, you can directly go. So it is an easy way, rather than going from the risk assessment screen, from the work area screen, it is always easy for people to enter into the risk assessment. Ease of usage. Are we clear till this point?
Yeah, Ram, here it will show only the risk rating or any control measures or precautionary measures also.
No, I'm coming to control measures. Safety measure is not yet done. So
Okay.
once we complete safety measures, yes, your control measure, the question will be answered over there.
Okay.
Okay. So anything else? Fine. So after we do this, then we come to the header data. There is something called as overall rating, and I click on matchup. So automatically the worst possible rating will come. Why? Suppose in the exposure profile there are 10 agents. 9 agents are green in color, 1 agent is red in color. Means high risk. So whenever a permit is being issued for that work area, whenever a permit is being issued, Do you think I should issue saying that array are 9 agents are very low risk, so let me not worry about it, or should I consider the one which is high risk? Example, production area. I'm manufacturing wires, electrical hazard, chemical electrical hazard, slip, trip, all those things are agents, but there are low risk. Only the chemical which I'm manufacturing is a high risk. So when I'm entering that area, should I not be protected for the high risk? Right or wrong?
Right.
So that is the reason. Any doubts in this, please ask me.
Nope, Ram, we can move ahead, I think.
Okay. So next, before coming to safety measures, there is one more topic which I want to include it here. So let us just come back. So now you can see this traffic light visible. So I want to show one more this thing for you. Just give me one moment. Okay, let me take this example exposure profile. Yes. So here you can see the same chemical P182 having different risks. At one scenario, no risk, medium risk, high risk. Why? When the work area operation is in normal status. So remember, even the status of the work area is important. When it is normally working, it is no risk. When it is in maintenance, like plants will be shut down, right? Preventive maintenance and all. So that will be medium risk. When some incident happened and there is a disruption, at that scenario, it is a high risk. So when a permit is being given, what is the scenario also will be considered to determine the risk. So same chemical or agent can have different risk depending on the scenario. Are we clear with this? Or do you want any explanation, additional explanation?
It's clear.
Okay, very good. So this is something which I want to let you know. So before I come to safety measure, let us try to complete patterns. Any idea what the pattern means? Any idea what a pattern means? Let us talk about English. What do you mean by pattern in English? English only, let us talk.
Something that is repeated like that.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Very good. Now, what is repeated in IHS? Industrial hygiene and safety, what is repeated?
Phrases.
So, sorry?
Phrases.
Um, yeah, okay. Phrases are repeated. Agreed. Other than that,
Work shifts.
work is repeated. Very good. So, I will say one way. Suppose if you are a battery manufacturing company, or let us say chemical company, which manufactures certain products, say maybe a paint industry or maybe pharma industry or any chemical industry. And you're having three different plants. All the three plants produce the same out product. So when same plants produce out product, is the risk not same? It will be the same, correct or wrong? So
Right.
you can create a pattern. So let us come to pattern. Click on create pattern. Let the number be generated as usual. Status, we discussed whether it is active created. In the pattern, I will have a single pattern. What is a collective? I'll explain again. Authorization group, all, enter, and save it. So utilities, go to, I'll put a description. I'll put it as BG. So then I come to the header data. So the moment I save it, you have seen two different tabs, different views coming: exposure profile, work area assignment, pattern assignment. So if there are multiple work areas having the similar agent, rather than going into each work area and creating again and again and again, we can assign the work areas here directly. How? I will show you. I'll just select it. Let me select our work areas. 93, 94, 95, 96. And save it. So what I'm doing is that for these four work areas, there is only one agent, and that one agent I'm doing it. So now I come to exposure profile. As usual, I will assign agent, and I will try to do. Let me select an agent first. I will select maybe. I'll select this one. Okay, save it. Now I select it. Of course, it can be multiple agents also. I click on create assessments. So an assessment has been created. So now let me come back to my risk assessment screen. And if I search directly, I will not see my pattern. So how to search a pattern is that you have to select the checkbox of pattern. So this is specific to pattern search only. Work areas will not be there in the list. So when I click on hit list, you can see these are the patterns. You can see pattern available. If I uncheck it, if I uncheck pattern and if I search it, I will not get pattern, but I will get all the work areas. So please remember, if you want to search pattern, select pattern, hit list, you will get it. So I'll select it. So just here only I will do the severity and probability. Example, I'll put high, calculate rating, save it, exposure profile matchup. Now when I come back, I go back directly to my work area. I open my 93. You can see automatically it was there. And if you double click on it, you can see the source is DHS pattern. The earlier source is risk assessment, but now it is a dangerous goods pattern. Clear? Now, let me come to the next work area. 93 is over. Let me come to 94. See, it is there. Let me come to 95. It is there. You create once in pattern. You remove the pain of the user to come select it, assessment, create it individually for the same chemical, for the same scenario, again and again. You don't need to do that. So create a pattern, do it automatically. It will be reflected across the work areas. Any doubts in this?
So Ram, does that mean that we are assigning the risk assessment to group of work areas and it will be reference to all those group of work areas, that risk assessment?
Yes, absolutely right. Absolutely right. So I have these multiple work areas which are having the same exposure. When I do a risk assessment for this, automatically all the work areas under this particular what to say pattern will get the same exposure profile what I have done.
Okay, so pattern is nothing but group of work areas and we assign here the risk assessment, or you can say exposure profile in the
Yes,
pattern.
that's right. Once you assign exposure profile, automatically you'll do the risk assessment.
Risk assessment, okay.
If you don't
And
want to
we
do
can,
it, if you don't want to do a risk assessment, don't come to pattern at all. It is a way to make the life of user easy and also to understand for a better reporting purpose what are the dangerous goods work areas, or what are the hazardous work areas, or maybe chlorine exposure work areas, or maybe some other chemical exposure work areas. So for a better reporting purpose also pattern is important.
okay, okay. And we can delete the reference like it was shown in one of the screen. There is an option to delete also.
Yes, obviously delete option is always there, but whenever you get in IHS, whenever you get what to say a value under a risk assessment, it is always advisable not to delete the source from where you got it, because all your control measures, safety measures, all those are dependent on the identified risk only, right? If it is a low risk, it may not be so severe control measures. But who said it's a high risk? Whether it's a risk assessment or from a pattern, that is important. The source is always important.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Anything else?
No, Ram, nothing from my side.
Okay. So now if you see in the header data, you have exposure profile, work area assignment, but you have something called as pattern assignment. Any idea why this? Again, see, when we are selecting pattern types, I selected single pattern, not the collective pattern. So what happens is that generally we select a collective pattern and we assign one more pattern under it. It will be a bit complicated. It's like you already have a group, that group is assigned under another group. Why? For example, you have sulfuric acid, nitric acid, and maybe formaldehyde. Three are there, chemicals. So for that, you created a pattern. And the second one, you are having chlorine, bromine, phosphoric acid. There are some work areas which have all the six. So the best way to do is that these three are created as group A with the pattern. The next three are created as a group B with another pattern. C, you are combining both the things together in the pattern assignment. You will assign patterns, so that what will happen, just like your work area assignment, when you assign a pattern, all the work areas under this pattern also will be there. So indirectly it is like if A is in B, B is in C, so it's like A is in C kind of thing.
One moment.
So it will be like that.
Talking of the
Someone is asking me a doubt. Sorry. Hello, is anyone asking me a doubt? I am not able to hear properly. Hello.
No, Ram, you can carry on.
Yeah. So this is about patterns. This will make the life of the consultant easy, user easy, also good for reporting. So obviously this was killed in the EHSM, but in the classic, the normal EHS, it is one of the best functionality for people to work on it. Any doubts in this? Guys, any doubts in this? Okay. So next topic is safety measure. This is an interlinked topic because if you see, I'm having safety measure here. The same safety measure is visible in the assessment also. When you go inside, you can see measures here, and the same safety measure comes in the incident accident management also when an incident and accident happens. So as an interlink, I have to explain this safety measure. So what I would say is that tomorrow we will be sitting for the final topic, incident and accident. With this we'll be completing, of course completing in the sense questionnaire measurement in OH I will complete it. So as far as this it will be completed. So at the time of incident accident I will explain safety measures in a single shot, because even in incident accident also you will be having a safety measure. So three different scenarios, of course it is the same screen, but in the three different scenarios I have to explain it. So that is the reason I will be taking it along with the incident accident management. That would be more easy and appropriate, because the same safety measure work area I will be explaining in a different way, risk a different scenario, incident accident it's a different scenario. It is all present over there. So that's the reason. So tomorrow we will complete the industrial hygiene and safety. And any doubts, yes, you can please ask me. And I hope you are looking into the materials also and you are practicing it. These materials are all available in the link provided for us. You can see the materials. You can see these are the different materials. One is an exercise lab activity and one is the normal PPT. So PPT will be like this. Of course we did not come to audit it, but I'm just showing you. So PPT will be explaining more about how to do it and all. So this you can look into it. And lab activities something like that, you can always get it, right, like you can practice it and all. So I believe since we are okay, it is not preview. So since we are already about to complete industrial hygiene and safety, I also expect and believe that you guys are practicing. So please let me know if you are facing any challenges or anything in this, because after this we are going for occupational health, and then we don't spend much time on other things. So that's the reason I'm saying the concept of workbench, phrases, now work area, risk assessment, all these are important. If you know this, whatever the version changes, like you call it location in EHSM or S4 HANA, risk management in EHSM and S4 HANA, it will be easy for you to understand and upgrade yourself. It will be easy once you are clear with this. So that's the reason I'm asking. How comfortable are you people? Are you practicing or not? So these things you need to consider it. So any doubts, or we can wind up the session. If no doubts, we can wind up the session. If no doubts, we can wind up the session.
Yes, Ram, we can do that.
Okay, thank you. So tomorrow we will complete this IHS along with incident accident log and safety measures of this. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ram, for your time.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.